News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Wednesday on Wall Street, where the S&P 500 saw its first back-to-back losses in 2026. We bring you closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 down 36 points, NASDAQ down 238, the Dow down 42 points, the 10-year Treasury yield at 4.14%, the 2-year yield at 3.52%. The U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on imports of certain semiconductors, including the H200 AI processors made by NVIDIA in Taiwan. The White House says the duty would apply to chips transshipped through the United States to other foreign countries and not those used domestically. The tariff is a condition required by President Trump in exchange for allowing NVIDIA to sell the chips in China. President Trump also says he's been told on good authority that plans for executions in Iran have stopped, even as Tehran has signaled fast trials and executions ahead in its crackdown on protesters.
We've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it.
Crude oil fell on those comments. Brent crude down 1.6%. WTI crude down 1.75%. Denmark says it agreed with the U.S. to form a working group on Greenland. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen.
We had what I will describe as a frank but also constructive discussion. The discussions focused on how to ensure the long-term security in Greenland. And here our perspectives continue to differ, I must say.
Rasmussen says they still haven't landed on a deal.
For us, ideas that would not respect territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark and the right of self-determination of the Greenlandic people are, of course, totally unacceptable.
The foreign ministers from Greenland and Denmark traveled to Washington to meet with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio to convince the administration that there's no need to take over Greenland. Verizon is suffering a widespread service outage. Thousands of users reporting lack of cell service this afternoon. The internet outage site Down Detector reported more than 1 million complaints from Florida to New Jersey as of 3 o'clock this afternoon Eastern Time. Verizon says it's aware of the issue and trying to fix it. A congressional committee is working with Fed Chair Jay Powell to schedule his next appearance before lawmakers, though the process has been disrupted by subpoenas recently served to the central bank. Carlyle Group CEO Harvey Schwartz says an investigation into Fed Chair Jay Powell underscores the importance of the U.S. central bank's independence.
There is so much discussion about central bank independence that it existed before this investigation that you now have central banks around the world writing letters. You now have former Treasury secretaries signing letters.
Schwartz spoke at the Economic Club of New York. Economic activity picked up at a slight to modest pace in most parts of the U.S. since mid-November. The Federal Reserve's Beige Book survey showed what the report called an improvement over the past 3 report cycles. Wholesale inflation picked up slightly in November from a month earlier on a jump in energy costs. Bloomberg's Michael McKee.
The index for final demand, less foods, energy, and trade services up 0.2% in November, and for the year up 3.5%. That is the largest 12-month increase since rising 3.5% in March.
Bloomberg's Mike McKee. The figures show companies are not passing along the costs of tariffs as much as expected because they don't want to suppress sales. Retail sales did rise in November by the most since July, fueled by a rebound in auto purchases and resilient holiday shopping. The value of retail purchases, not adjusted for inflation, increased 0.6%. 0.5% if you leave out cars. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.